God has never spoken a word He did not intend to keep. Not one promise has slipped through the cracks of heaven. Not one blessing has gone unfulfilled because He forgot. And not one covenant He has made has ever come back void. Joshua chapter 21 verse 45 puts it plainly. Not one word of all the good promises God made failed. Every single one came to pass. That is not an ancient guarantee. That is your reality right now. Think about what the Israelites had walked through before that declaration in Joshua chapter 21 was made. Years in the wilderness, battles that seemed impossible, moments where the promise felt like a distant memory rather than an approaching reality. There were times the land seemed unreachable, times the enemies seemed unbeatable, times the journey seemed unending. And yet, on the other side of all of it, not one word failed. Every promise came to pass exactly as God had said it would. That same God is your God. The one who kept every word to Israel is the same one who has made precious promises to you through Jesus Christ. 2 Peter chapter 1 verse 4 tells us that through His promises, we participate in the divine nature itself. This is not symbolic language. This is a declaration that God has made a real and tangible way for you to live in covenant blessing, right now, in your actual life, in the middle of your real circumstances. So often we treat God's promises like fine china we keep behind glass, too sacred to actually use, too holy to hold with everyday hands. But that is not how God intended them. He gave you His promises to be lived in, stood on, and spoken out loud. They are meant to be the lens through which you see your situation, not something you dust off on special occasions and set back on the shelf. Jesus said in John chapter 15, verse 7, that if you remain in Him and His words remain in you, you can ask whatever you wish and it will be done. That is a covenant relationship in action. His word living in you, your life rooted in Him, and the promises of God becoming the very atmosphere you breathe. When His word is in your heart and in your mouth, you stop living like a person surviving and start living like a person who knows they are covered, claimed, and carried by a God who never breaks His word. And when circumstances try to contradict what God has promised, that is not God changing His mind. That is the testing ground where faith is refined and grown strong. Every promise you stand on when things look uncertain is a living declaration of trust in the character of a God who has never once failed. Not once in all of history, and not once in your story either. Your faith in His promises is not weakness. It is the most powerful posture you can carry into any room, any situation, and any season of life. God keeps every word He speaks, and that means the promises over your life are not maybes. They are certainties waiting for the right moment to be revealed. Find one promise today, write it down, and carry it with you. Let it be your anchor, your weapon, and your song. He said it. He meant it. Not one word will fail. Jesus, thank you that every promise you have spoken over my life stands firm. I choose to believe your word over what I see, your truth over what I feel, and your covenant over my circumstances. Let your promises rise up in my heart today and fill me with the confidence that comes from knowing you never fail. Amen. Thanks for joining me on The Divine Disciple. Subscribe so you never miss a shot of spiritual encouragement, and I'll see you next time.